Okay, this is Buke and George of the Metalheads Podcast. We're standing outside, freezing cold, to interview the guys from Theories. What's going on, gentlemen? Say your names for us.
Hey, this is Rick.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And you guys do what in the band, Rick?
I'm the vocalist.
Joe, drums.
Joe on drums, Rick on vocals. Gentlemen, I was Joe talking to you inside at the merch table before we started this. How's the tour band going, guys?
It's been a lot of fun so far. I've had a chance to make it all the way out to the East Coast in just about a week and a half, and all the shows so far have been great, if not a bit cold.
Now, for those who don't know, you guys are from Seattle. Is the whole band from Seattle?
We've all been living there. Certain members are, from the East Coast, but we've all been in Seattle for quite a while.
What is it that brought you guys together? I ask because on the podcast, it seems like a lot of our bands who interview now that Craigslist or the internet has been the great bringer together of some of metal bands that we really enjoy. So what brought all you guys together, and how long you been doing this?
I've known Joe for like 10 years now, just from going to shows in the same places. A lot of the other guys have known Joe for a while, so he's kind of been the person that's binding us all together. But we all kind of started playing together because we all work on the same block in Seattle, kind of like a party block, lots of bars, and the coffee roastery I work at is on the same block there. So
is it a metal coffee roastery?
Metal friendly, but I wouldn't say.
Is that why you guys have your own coffee at the table?
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't know if you know the band Tombs. Mike, the lead singer of Tombs, actually is in the coffee and roasts coffee and has it himself.
Okay,
so
cool.
That was the second time I saw that. That was pretty cool. Gentlemen, you guys just released an album on Metal Blade, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Regression came out in March of last year.
And you guys happy with how it turned out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was really awesome for our debut, and it seemed to be received really well, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, the thing that struck me right away is the grind sound that you guys have, but then you do throw elements of like a death metal sound in with it, like a death grind. I know here I am throwing out genres. Everybody tries to put on bands and labels and shit like that, but you guys do something that definitely stands out. Working for Metal Blade, under their flag, definitely can't do any better than them in the storied history.
Right. We're very happy, but we were really surprised and excited when we found out they wanted to sign us.
Yeah, we in fact had Brian on last year, one of our first episodes. And if there's a guy you want running a record label other than Brian Slagle, that's the fucking guy you want. He seems like he's a champion for every band underneath him.
Right, yeah. Done a lot for us so far.
Joe, I was talking to you inside. You said after this tour you got some festivals you guys are maybe playing in the summer. You speak on that?
Yeah, we're playing, what's the name of the festival in
Southwest
Canada?
Terrorfest? Shit.
We're playing Southwest Terrorfest.
Okay.
With Pig Destroyer, or are they playing? Grove Open Nosebleed and Nails. We're playing, I can't remember the name of the festival in Vancouver with Suffocation and Misery Index, Job for Cowboy.
Probably some hockey themed metal thing. Yeah.
It's called Sick Ass Hockey Fest.
Puck you or something like that. Yeah. So those are you guys' immediate future plans?
Yeah, and there's like a short 2-week tour that's going to happen in June with a band called Immortal Bird, who are incredible. Modified Ghost is the name of the.
Okay.
But yeah, Immortal Bird, they're great.
Oh, they're one of our favorites last year. They've been doing some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, the record they did is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys have favorite albums from last year? We just did our year-end podcast a couple weeks ago. I know you guys maybe get asked this question a lot. If nothing comes to mind, you're not gonna say. But
New Cattle Decapitation record.
And we are just joined by now
Lee.
And Lee, you are
Guitar player.
The guitar player. That Cattle album. What an amazing growth for an album, isn't it?
It is. I mean, they definitely, all the elements that they did on that record, they had on the record before.
Yeah.
Monument in Humanity.
Yeah.
It's just kind of them building on top of that and getting more wild with that element. Like Travis's insane vocals. It's like it drives me crazy what he's capable of.
When I heard that,
it's insane.
When I heard that, what's it? The first track, "Manufactured Extinction," I think it is. When they go right into like his clean singing vocals there, it kind of sounds that wicked, kind of his own voice.
Yeah, it's really ambitious.
It's just.
They come from that grind world, you
Yes.
know? They come from the grind world, and they're doing something with it that no one's ever done.
And you know what, guys? The grind world for me, it's great that you just mentioned it. You see, I'm wearing a Napalm Death hoodie. They were always a band for me, and grind for years was really hard for me to get into because I thought that I didn't understand it, and a lot of it just hit you right in the face, really hard, really fast, and I didn't know how to appreciate it. Yeah. And then we saw Napalm last year, was it, George?
Yeah, it was a little over a year ago.
And that Apex Predator album, man, that's an amazing album.
And they're old men.
Yes, and they're old guys. Yes, and I was when I gave it a full listen after seeing them live, you're like, man, there's really depth here. Yeah. I mean this in the most respect. Grind for me, and what stands out with you guys, grind was just very plain, very, very simple to me as someone who didn't really understand it. But then when guys like you or what Napalm are doing that adds a little more to it, that's what I like to hear. So you like the Callow. What was yours?
I mean, I'd have to say, the new Behemoth album really kicked my ass. I love that album. And I think it came out last year. It might have been late the year before, but the new Ghost Bath album, Moon Lover, I was really into.
Yours?
I forget the name of the record, but the new Ahab.
Oh.
That's the one. The boats, yeah.
Yes. They are one of our podcast favorite bands.
Yeah. They're incredible. I've been listening to The Giant like nonstop since it came out. So
my man, give me that. Yes.
It's nice to have a new one from
I
him.
made my top 10 of the last 15 years, The Giant.
Yeah.
Dude, that Antarctica, the Polymorphous, that song is like the perfect fucking song.
That is just amazing. You just put on headphones and listen to that album, and it blows your mind. It's crazy.
Yeah. I thought The Boats was a little disappointing just because I think the Giant to me was so perfect that I thought there's no way that they could top that. I'm saying The Boats wasn't bad, it just wasn't the Giant.
Yeah. The vocals are different. It took a little bit of getting used to, but I like it. It kind of has that like Seattle grunge vocal sound, which I guess I have to like, right? Yeah.
So, guys, growing up, you guys all look about my age.
24.
Okay. Man, I give myself. Man, I'm 33. Boy, I'm feeling good now. Did you guys kind of get thrown into the grunge world growing up, or is that just kind of what us here from the East Coast, Maryland?
I'd say, like, you grew up in New York, so you weren't exposed to much of that.
Lee and I were the only two people born and bred in Washington.
Where's your flannel? Let me see. Come on,
man, it's at home. I fit at home. So, like when I was growing up, like my favorite bands were the Melvins and like Soundgarden and stuff like that. Like I was definitely immersed in that stuff. It kind of formed the way I listen to music now. Anytime, like me and Rick have this ongoing conversation about why I can't get into black metal, and it's because I got into the Melvins way too early, and so I need big drums and I need big riffs, and I need, in order for it to sound heavy. It's a different aesthetic. It's like something, it trained my ear to like listen to look for those riffs and those big drums and like,
I don't get into myself. Yeah. I'm not a black metal guy.
Yeah, I do like some black metal bands, but generally it's like black metal bands like that have that element
good
to
production.
it. Like some of some of the Behemoth stuff.
I like my shit
like
recorded on a boombox. That's what I like.
That's what we have this discussion on the pod. They have caused so much hatred has been spewed about them, but the band Deaf Heaven.
Oh yeah.
George, their albums recently have been hailed as, album of the year by multiple outlets. Rolling Stone, gave Sunbather, not that it means shit, but gave Sunbather album of the year. But then George hates it because George says, hey, it's 2015. 2016. Albums don't need to fucking sound like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shitty, in other words.
Yeah, shitty. They can be recorded with...
Well, the music is recorded fine. It's the fact that the vocals are fucking indecipherably buried that it really fucking bothers me about it. And the fact that they look like they just walked out of some fancy club in New York, and
I can almost appreciate that on some level. Like, I mean, I feel like they're trying to do something. I'm not a big Death Heaven fan myself. I don't really like them. But one thing I can give them credit for is that they're not trying to pass themselves off as like some cult black metal band. They're definitely they're self-aware of what they are. That they're kind of hipster post-metal, you know. And so like whatever, they can do whatever they want. Teach their own.
I mean, that's fine with me. I've actually never heard Death Haven, but to me, like, I mean, black metal didn't sound like it didn't get the crappy production initially because that's what the bands had to do. Like, I mean, the first band to really like do that was Dark Throne, and they had a good recording budget. Like, their first album was solidly recorded, like Swedish, like death metal album, and they intentionally did that. So I think a big part of black metal for me is like defying expectations. So I don't. Fuck what anybody thinks you should do, like, or conforming to some sort of like image or sound. Like, do what the fuck you want to do, and I mean, do exactly what people don't want you to do, and that can be pretty black metal.
Look, you guys have Joe in it, man. You guys can't see here on this podcast, but Joe, you got long fucking dreads that are epic.
But they're recorded really poorly.
That right there. Let's put that on the fucking shirt. Oh, Joe, I got to ask you, playing this style music as a drummer, do you like this style to play? Because, you know, we mentioned Ahab. When I hear a lot of the funeral doom stuff, I think to myself, oh, as a drummer, they must be bored fucking silly. I have to wonder.
I love playing this kind of music. Yes. Okay. It hurts, and I'm getting old, and there's definitely like a good amount of shows where halfway through I'm like, fuck, be over. But I kind of can't get away from it. Like, I've tried to dumb it down, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. Would you be, now on the flip side, would you be bored if you were in like a funeral doom band?
I am. Oh, I am in a doom band. It's no.
See, for those who, I was trying to lead us into a question. Go ahead and tell other people who you're in.
I play in Samothrace. It's not boring because I like the music a lot and I get to hit really hard.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's different and it's hard.
At Death Fest last year, we saw Skepticism, and what you just said hit home. Fucking, it's hitting you like a Mack truck every time they play. It's slow, it's trotting, but it's fucking pounding. Yeah. And I just always wonder if you know what you guys think about that, playing that style. You guys here again have a couple more dates on this tour. Can we expect you guys to enter the studio? Are we already working on new stuff?
That's what we're working on, pretty much. Like, we have some, like we were saying earlier, we have some fests coming up. We got a couple like small tours, but focusing, like, at least for me, focusing on writing another record. That's my priority. We had this one come out, and you know, I'm really ADD, so when I'm really stoked about how it turned out, and I'm like, oh, that was great. Let's fucking do it again. Like let's get working on the next one, man. Like, that's all I want.
As a band, what's your guys' method for doing your guys' writing? Who does most of it? Do you guys put it in? You do?
Well, I mean, it's like I write the actual like riffs and like melodic structures and stuff like that, or if you want to call it that. And then me and Joe work out like arrangement with Kusha. Kusha, he's not here, but Kusha works out arrangements also. It's relatively collaborative. It all starts with guitars, though. I mean, I've tried to pester Joe about like starting from the standpoint of coming up with drum lines first. We've done that in the past, and I kind of enjoyed it. It's kind of like it accesses a different part of my brain than I normally use. But yeah, I mean, we're working whatever we can on new stuff. It's what I do. That is the best part, the creative part of it, and it's been a while.
You know, when you guys here, you know, driving, you know, across the country here on tour, I'm not going to ask you what's your craziest tour story and shit like that, but does it give you guys a chance to really get together and, you know, bounce ideas back and forth, or really this kind of driving around isn't Because with technology being what it is, you guys could pull out like an iPhone, iPad, or something, or a laptop and lay down something. Or when you guys have hours to kill outside, shitty bars here in Frederick.
Like I think that's something that's conducive to having a bigger space. Like guys that have like sprinters or like have chairs where you can sit down and do that stuff.
I have a Toyota Prius.
Yeah.
You're not recording anything in my fucking car.
But when we're in the when you're in a van, we don't have a trailer. We've got all of our gear is crammed into our van. All of our stuff is crammed into our van. We barely have places to put our feet, let alone places to play guitar. So like I don't even.
We get a chance to talk about a lot of ideas, to bounce things off of each other, shoot down each other's plans.
It has nothing to do with music, though. It generally has. We're bouncing like creative ideas about how we can
make a sandwich. We
We
do take our iPhones and iPads out and lay down in the van and play Angry Birds. Look at Instagram.
Look at all that shit. Is there any point during a tour when you guys, because it blows me away, and I talk to my coworkers, and I'm like, these are my bands going around in, vans, just, out there playing for the love of it. Does it get to a point, and I'm sure it has to, I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, so if it doesn't, where you get to a point, like maybe a couple of days into a tour, or like right now, you're like, God, this fucking sucks. Here we are in Maryland, gotta drive all the way fucking back to Washington in this thing. Does it ever get to a point, guys, and you're like, man, this sucks?
It hasn't been too bad. I think considering how much time we spend together, we actually all get along really well. Like, obviously, we all get on each other's nerves to like some extent, but not nearly to the extent that I've experienced in other bands.
I was actually talking about this earlier. I find on tours I hit little mini walls periodically where it's just like, where like one day I'm waking up and I'm like, oh, it's this again. But ultimately I love it, and I couldn't imagine doing like anything else with this time, I mean, me and Joe have these conversations like where we'll be like, if we get offered this thing to do, like fuck our lives, like it doesn't matter. Like it's I think with everything, like every day you make a conscious decision, like, this is what I'm doing. And like if you don't do that, I feel like that's what a work ethic is,
I gotta take some of your words to heart, because sometimes, I'm not on tour driving around, but some days I'm like, God, going to work again, and I only work 4 days a week.
Yeah, that works with jobs too, man. Just getting up, like you make a conscious decision, show up to work. I mean, some days you wake up and it's not as fun as other days, but that's what makes you a worker,
Yeah.
Except for when you do that with jobs, you don't end up homeless.
That's true.
Are we in a van? That's a home. It's. I've been touring for a long time, and I honestly, like, even if I didn't like it anymore, which is not true, like I fucking love tour. The only thing I don't like about tour is setting up my drums. But I mean, it takes like 20 minutes, and once I'm done, I'm like, I was such a baby about that. But like I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't touring.
I'm sure you guys have met countless people, made countless friends, wonderful connections, seen the country. You guys have been able to see sites that people wouldn't go their whole lifetimes never seeing.
Oh, yeah. Get to see, a lot of I think that as opposed to like vacationing in a place, it's cool to see like what people actually do and like actually meet locals. Like every once in a while, if we have some extra time, we'll like fuck around and see something touristy, like go to the Alamo or something like that. But when we come to town, we're just kind of living like the basic like town life, and that's a part of every city I don't think most people get to see when they visit.
No, definitely not.
Even if you're on like the kind of tour where the drives are super long and the load-ins are early, and you don't get to do much besides go to the show, still like the level of responsibility is like nothing compared to being at home. Like if something fucked up happens, like there's nothing you can do till you're back home. So like basically our responsibility is get our gear where it's supposed to be, play for 30 minutes and have a good time, and then get it back off the stage. Like,
and hope everything isn't catching on fire back at home.
Yeah, I mean, and if it does catch on fire, like then it'll deal with it in a week or two. Like nothing I can do now. Man.
Yeah, nothing you can do about it right now. As your phone goes off. Right?
Everything catches on fire. You don't have to worry about finding storage for some of the stuff that survives.
I was just saying, like, as your phone goes off, saying like, saying like, oh shit, it's burned down. You guys. made any good, especially you, Joe. You guys been in past bands as well?
Yeah, we've all been in bands forever. Nothing too notable. I was in various styles for a little bit. Count Time. Nothing really notable.
Yeah.
I played in a kind of like a metalcore band called Grieving the Days to Come. I did like a project that was. I have pretty diverse music styles, and I did a project that sounded kind of like Drive Like Jehu.
Okay.
Or Unwound,
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Guys, since you guys, just put your first album out on Metal Blade, we see a lot of bands, and how we get introduced to a lot of bands is Bandcamp and stuff, and a lot of bands putting things out by themselves. Before Metal Blade, and you guys, got signed to them, was that something that you guys had even looked into? And are you maybe a little relieved that you don't have to worry about putting it all out by yourself?
We had a Bandcamp.
We started the band in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. Or basically the beginning of. Well, we started the band in 2010, kind of.
Okay.
Like just a couple dudes, and then we recorded a demo. We had 4 songs that we recorded before the band was full. It was kind of like let's record this and then figure out who else is going to be in it kind of thing. And we had that demo out. We toured on that demo like 5 times or something.
Wow.
And then we did a split 7-inch with Wake from Calgary.
Yep.
So I mean, we had some stuff out before, but we kind of did everything backwards. Like the band started because we wanted to tour. So we kind of wrote a set and then toured a lot and then buckled down to record.
How did getting signed come about?
We sent some stuff out, and we had a booking agent who did as well, and Metal Blade.
Wow.
Bit.
Wow.
I mean, I think they saw that we were a band that was willing to work. We would have put out the album regardless. We recorded it on our own. They ended up putting it out for us, but we were just gonna do it. We were gonna tour, we were gonna write, we were gonna record, and if Metal Blade wanted to help us out, that's fucking fantastic. But so more people were gonna hear it, but we were gonna do it regardless. But I think that helped. I think Metal Blade saw a band that were gonna do things anyway, and saw that as an opportunity.
Yeah, that is definitely the one thing that I think you still get with labels that I think sometimes with Bandcamp is hard, because you go on Bandcamp every day. It's still a bitch of a page to really navigate to see what's new, and there's so much stuff just being fucking dumped on it all the time that it's hard to really kind of stand out, I think, sometimes on there. But now with the label and what they do, hoping you guys get recognized, definitely helps more than putting it out there by your guys' selves, which we're going to do and had done in the past. Gentlemen, one question, and I'll let you guys go. I don't know if you guys have been following the metal world news, aside from all the deaths that we've had. Phil Anselmo kind of put his foot in his mouth with his actions on stage. You guys got any comments on that, or you think that Phil is...
Or would you prefer to stay far, far away from that question?
Yeah.
The one thing that bugs me about all of this stuff is that so it's a dude that did something stupid. He was drunk. Obviously, he was wasted.
Of course. That's what I said.
Kind of my granted, he did something fucked up, but kind of my take on all of it is one person's stupid actions or stupid opinions doesn't give everyone free license to be shitty to each other. And I see a lot of comments about stuff people being that's fine if someone has an opinion that he's racist, but then all of a sudden everyone backlashes at that, and then that person's all right, well, you're all racist.
You're all, yeah. And
then it's just everyone just talking shit on each other, and I'm like what's worse in the grand scheme of things? One person saying something fucked up, or and I like Pantera fine, but I was never a huge fan, so I don't have an opinion. I always kind of thought Phil Anselmo was a little bit of a tool,
Yeah.
So I don't have any opinion on what he said. I do have an opinion about the way the general public and social media tends to handle shit like that. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, I think he put his foot in his fucking mouth. I think like since then he released the apology, which seemed to me to be heartfelt. It seems like he's being accountable from that. I don't see why people need to deify the artists that make the music they enjoy. Like, I think it's entirely possible to be like, I really enjoy this art. That person is not somebody who I back at all. So I don't know.
I don't like the. I'm not going to go. If this was a church, I'm not going to like the guy who burnt it down. But I can listen to the music.
Right. I mean, I might like a person who burned down a church. But yeah, I think that's it. But I think the only thing that disappointed me about the backlash is hearing people say that, like, if you're not down with, like, racism, then, like, you're not metal. Or if, like, PC things, or if something's not PC, then you're not metal. And, like, I don't know.
Yeah, the whole SJW thing kind of pisses me off. Like,
yeah, what I think is fucking metal is standing up for what you believe in and, like, saying fuck you to the people who you hate. And if that means bigots, which, at least for me, I think bigotry has no fucking place in metal, and that's like my view, and I'll say that to anybody's fucking face. And if that makes me like a social justice warrior or like a pussy, so be it. I don't give a shit.
Well, gentlemen, anything you say in closing? And I'll let you guys go inside, warm up. George, you got anything?
Yeah, I was curious about the band name. First of all, who came up with the name Theories, and what's the theory behind Theories? I mean, what's that mean? You know, like,
you can't ask that. That's what? Yeah. What's the theory for your question?
I'm just curious.
Yeah. That was a good one.
I don't. I think Joe came up with the name, but I think it's that we all are kind of interested in weird conspiracy theories and stuff. Or
are you on like Matt Pike's level? With like weird.
I don't know what Matt Pike's level is.
He's out there.
I mean, I've got some ideas about socio-political stuff, which I could go on for quite a long time.
Did we land on the moon?
Did we land on the moon? I don't know that there's a fucking moon, man.
Hollywood soundstage, man.
Dude, the moon doesn't exist.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I imagine like so. I hate naming bands. Like, I hate band names in general. So I think that having a name that was relatively ambiguous and kind of like, you know, it's just a word. Like, band name it a word, let the music determine what that word means to other people. Like, you know, it doesn't really like so one of my favorite band names is, like, I love Today Is the Day, right? Mm-hmm. And Today Is the Day, if you look at it a particular way, you could think that's some posi-core straight edge band that should be written in like collegiate lettering. But their music is depressing as fuck. So it makes me feel like their name is like, today is the day that I fucking kill myself. Yep. You know? So what you do, like, your art determines how people are going to perceive what your band name is. So ultimately it doesn't matter what your band name is. So, like, having an ambiguous band name is good for that.
I agree.
And both those things combined, it was the fact that we were into conspiracy theory shit, and the fact that
biggest one, your biggest conspiracy theory.
It's different for all of us. So we argue about it, disagree with each other entirely.
That's what they're doing in the van.
I'm really ever since first reading about it, I think the most interesting one is the harp. Like weather control shit, which is fucking nuts. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, like the Matt Pike thing. Like, everything's meant to confuse the fuck out of you. So whether you believe in each conspiracy or you don't believe in it, like, it's just people telling you why you're wrong. Like, either side, I don't know. So, like, it's interesting. It's a good read, and like every now and then you'll talk to someone who knows some shit, and like just by like the look on their face or like the smirk they give you, you're like, motherfucker, there's so much shit you don't know.
There's a documentary. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but I watched a documentary on Netflix about one of the flights off of New York or Massachusetts, wherever it was, that got shot down, they say. Mm-hmm. And they have countless eyewitness reports, hundreds of people, credible people, old ladies, you know, professional guys, and they all said they saw something go up and hit the plane, and that's what took it down. But, you know, the FAA says that, it was a mechanical error. That's a theory that I fucking got behind. So I could see it when there's tons of ones that you out there. So, you know, definitely passing the time, driving back on the road, bouncing shit off. George, anything else?
Yeah, I noticed you guys had vinyl on your merch booth. Any of you guys into vinyl? Or is that just something, that you sell because Metal Blade makes vinyl?
We had to actually talk him into doing it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up buying vinyl. I grew up listening to vinyl because my father and his 45 collection. I don't see... I mean, CDs are nice, and they're easy, and they're good to listen to so you don't fuck your vinyl up, but I don't know. Like, it's not fun framing a CD and putting it on the wall,
Yeah.
Like, vinyl's just better in every way.
Just want to point out to everybody that we are also almost out, and it is on limited edition black vinyl, so get it while it lasts.
I'm going to be going inside and grabbing one myself.
Me too.
George also. Is there...
The unspoken thing that I didn't say is that on the podcast we're all big vinyl fans, and so that was like the first thing we zeroed in on when we walked in there. We're like, ooh, vinyl.
Yeah. Okay, well, gentlemen, I'll let you guys go. We're looking forward to seeing you guys tonight. Thanks for giving us the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.